Hey everybody, happy Sunday to you. Kevin E. coming at you. Hoping to maybe grab, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of your time today. This is kind of in honor of my man, Aaron Scrap Mac Daddy Norvell, who sort of pushed me to perhaps put a little something out during this crazy period of time. We're on day 35, for those of us who look at 3/15 as our lockdown date, and where we are today on 4/19. And there's a good chance that we're staring at least, another 30 days, if not more, under the current guise that we're in. And I wanted to pass along, I guess, a couple of thoughts that I've had during this time because of watching both our society, our country, and obviously our town, just as you are, amongst your friends and everyone, and maybe toss a couple of things out that might potentially help just because we're all struggling with this. And it's an impact that we, in a lot of ways, haven't seen. I don't want to get into all the references about how much tougher you need to be than what they did in World War II or what we're being asked of, because everybody functions with it different. And while I'm a big advocate of, sure, reach out to some friends, absolutely, read a book or two, binge watch some stuff you've been meaning to watch, or in my case, get that whiteboard out and knock a bunch of things out that you haven't, quote unquote, had time to do or found time to do prior to 3/15/20. And all of those things matter. They're all valid. One of the most important things I would say to my friends and those who may see this is, you got to do you. Whatever it is that keeps you in a solid place. Be careful about being influenced too much by what other people think you should do. I'm suggesting any of the above for you, whatever it may be. You got to do you, because this is likely to occur again. We're likely to have to reset and go through this again. But from my man Scraps, one of the things that I would like to offer is this. Whether you're a fan of the show Westworld or not, and I know many people aren't, I happen to be one. I happen to be someone who does live alone, and I happen to be someone who's spending a lot of this time powering through a whiteboard. But there's a thing in Westworld that all of the AI robots have, but we have it too. And it's simply called a cornerstone. Now, a lot of us in life, when we may have watched the show or we hear that word, we think sometimes that that would be our passion, our calling, especially coming from a place, like Hollywood, where so many people in the world move here to pursue, their artistic passion for performing. Your family, your kids. And I would simply challenge you that that's not what I think Cornerstone means. And during this time of forced quiet, forced shutdown, forced time to spend with yourself, even if you're inside the house with others, is to really figure out what your cornerstone is, because those passions and callings are an extension of your cornerstone. They aren't necessarily your cornerstone. It's not what it means. And I have a little example here of a picture that some people have seen. I've posted it one time on Flashback Friday or Throwback Thursday, who the hell knows. And it's me, whether you realize that or not. And it was me standing in an apartment on Moore Park Street, getting my first headshot session in LA, taken by a guy named Sean Kenny. And in between rolls of film, I was staring out the window. Who knows what this young man was pondering at that time. But when I look in his eyes, I know him in ways I've obviously known him my whole life, just like we think we've known ourselves. And yet, even though I look in his eyes and I recognize him, I also know that I would have liked to have spent more time with him when I was younger. Because as much as I feel like that I've known my cornerstone in a lot of ways, there's a difference in thinking you know it and living it. And it's times like these that I've spent all these years working on growing that more and knowing who he is and what that cornerstone means and how it plays out in your life. And I would just encourage all of you, it's not so much about self-introspection, walking around and looking at the things that make up the history of your life. And when you come out of this, make sure you come out of it knowing what it is that drives your priorities, what it is that makes what's important to you or passionate to you. Because whether you like the show or not, that's the one thing for me that I'm finding amongst all the people that I talk to, is there seems to be a small lack, tiny sometimes bigger, of understanding one's actual cornerstone for themselves. And it's something that is going to help carry you through your life, no matter how many people you have around you, how many people love you, how big your family is. So I say that to us all because we're in this together. We are. Globally, we're in it together. And there's a really good chance there'll be a second wave, maybe a third wave, and we might be wearing masks for a long time. So if you can, spend some time trying to figure out, it's going to be just a word or two, that's it, of what your cornerstone is. And maybe, I only offer maybe, it will really help you now and going forward. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday, and if I don't see you on a regular basis, I'll see you on the other side of this when we all get out. Take care.